My positioning of my head. I'm gonna have to slouch a little bit. I moved my camera since our last stream, and now I think I gotta like get all the way down here. How's it going, guys? How's it going? How's it going? Welcome back, everybody. It has been a minute. It has been a time. But do I have my? Yeah, okay, audio's working. We're all good to go. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Anemo, welcome into the chat. Welcome. It's been a moment, guys. It has been a moment. I have had a very, very busy last month. And, it's been great. It's been a good time. Good work. We had this crazy deadline on this film that we're working on. And so I've been working literally, I'm not even joking, about 11 to 12 hours every single day for the last month straight, with maybe like Sundays off here and there. But I was just like so exhausted. I was like, there's no way I can stream and do this at the same time. Oh, Kaisto, welcome to the chat. It's good to see you again as well. Thanks for joining. But yeah, I mean, this last month has been pretty crazy, pretty wild. Also, some big news. I got into my short films in Nashville Film Festival. It'll be I'm playing in September. So we're already in like September. Today's September 1st. But it's playing on September 20th at the Nashville Film Festival. So that's the first public screening of my short film. If you guys haven't checked the trailer out for that, go check it out on the YouTube channel. That is up. Hey, Keysign, you're over in the vertical chat. I see you over there. Welcome. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about that. That's some big news. So yesterday we did like a nice little fun private screening for cast and crew of the film, so that way everyone could check it out. Did you figure it out, the character's hair and eye? Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? I did end up figuring a solution out, and I'll walk you guys through what we did there once we get started. But yeah, I mean, and the film that I just finished, it's called The Curse of the Necklace. It's so fast. It's also coming out September 20th. It'll be in theaters. If you guys want to go check that out. I think it'll be in theaters September 26th, I think, or 27th, somewhere around there. Let's see. Let me check my... Yeah, it's probably like the 26th, because that's the Thursday, right? I don't know. I don't know what theaters. I don't know when other than that, but that's all the news I got for this last month. As I said, pretty crazy month, lots of work. I'm hoping that once everything's out, I can walk you through some of the cool visual effects that we did. Worked with some incredibly talented artists from around the world to pull this feat off, and I'm really excited about how that all went. Congrats on your short film. Thank you. It's been a long time in the making. I wrote the short back in September of 2022. And then I built the set myself. And if you guys check out like on Patreon, I have like some of the building plans that I used to create it and all that stuff. But that's where I went and, built the entire set from scratch using like pallets and particle boards and whatever I can get my hands on. And then that took like 3 months to do. And then we filmed it over the course of like 2 days. And then it was like editing, visual effects. Like pretty much every shot in the film is visual effects. So there's a lot of set extension shots. Of course, it's a monster film, so there's a lot of monster VFX in there as well. As soon as everything's out, I'm really planning on doing like a deep dive into like how we did it, what the pipeline was like, and everything there. The Curse of the Necklace, nice name. Yeah, it's a pretty cool name. I think it's kind of funny because it's like you could add the name like Indiana Jones and The Curse of the Necklace, and it sounds like an Indiana Jones title. I think you use your 10 to 30 minutes for thinking the name of the movie. I think you use your 10 or 30 minutes for thinking of the name of the movie. Yeah, sure. I'm sorry. I don't think I'm following along with the chat there. But anyways, another thing I did on this project, let's jump into like what we have been working on. This is our lovely character that we've been modeling here in Blender over the last few weeks, although we took a little bit of a break this last month. But this is the character that we have so far. I ended up getting the eyes to work. And it involved me cheating a little bit, but I don't really care because we have the eyeball that actually exists. And if I modeled things correctly from the beginning with the UV unwrapping, we wouldn't have been in a bad position. But I ended up projecting the eyeball that we created onto this area in the angle that we needed it to be at in order for us to get it to work. You can use the same method from projecting it from straight forward, so that way you don't have any like warping issues or anything like that. But this worked for me because I knew that we weren't really going to be animating her to like be moving her eyes all that much. But this is the 3D model that we created, as well as the environment, all done in Blender so far. And we will be compositing, you know, the skin material. Obviously, she's got like these weird lines here, but it's just because we applied the skin shader of her skin here, which includes her lips, her eyes, and things like that. And that's all you see, these like crazy stretch marks on our arms. Like that's what's being carried over from that element there. And of course, in the background, just as like a recap, we created all of these different memory balls. I don't know what you want to call them. Her left hand looks pink. Yes, that's all part of our kind of like glow effect that we have. You could see like that light coming onto her skin there. You're here. Sorry, I was helping people move furniture. Why would you do that? Why would you help people move furniture? Like, yeah, you could seriously injure yourself there, Vatican Shotgun. You can hurt yourself, or Ben for all you old timers who didn't know he changed his YouTube channel name. But anyways, that's where the stretch marks are coming from there. As you can see, I fixed the eyes. I made some adjustments on the hair as well to get it to flow a little bit more like how her hair flows as the character. I just didn't want to do it on stream. I was like, this is something that like, it's boring. It's very particular. I've already wasted hours and hours, Ben knows, of just like doing this on stream. I was like, I've already put the groundwork for everybody. We'll go from there and we'll make some adjustments. Today, primarily, I want to focus on finishing up kind of the environment here, getting everything else kind of like, you know, situated. It feels a little empty in the world right now, but that's okay. Like we're gonna clean that all up and get it going. Let me open up our reference photo so you can see where our aim is. So this is the photo that we've been using as like our reference of what we're trying to create. You could tell that she has a little bit more of a glow to her as well. And we're going to accomplish that inside of compositing. But, you know, I think we're pretty close as far as like the actual modeling aspect of things. It's just going to be getting everything to kind of line up and, you know, kind of work for us. So, without further ado, let's jump right on in. I know I've been chatting for a bit here, but let's look at our project file as we're working on some stuff here. So, as per usual, I kind of have everything lined up here. I'm probably going to turn off the memory spheres because it takes quite a bit of RAM and to run that and you know, live stream at the same time. But you miss his comments? Yeah, Ben's back, baby. Okay, I tweaked my back a bit moving furniture, but I'm comfortably sitting in a chair now. Dude, don't tweak your back. Don't do that. Believe me, those things hurt, man, and they last for far too long. Let's see. If I go into edit mode on these guys here, you'll notice that I can just select like where are we at? I just kind of want to select. You see how we have like this vertice here? I can now fill in more memory spheres in like different areas. Let's see. Where's that at? So this is instances. Let's go to memories. I'm just going to turn off memories for myself real quick. But if we go into here, I'm going to just kind of duplicate, you know, these little spheres around. The idea being that like the more of these like laying around, just feel like she's in kind of like a messy environment. So we're just going to kind of like add these in. The cool thing that we're doing is this is using geometry nodes where it's creating spheres everywhere. Like that vertice exists. That's basically the trick. Go to the gym like Connor. Yeah, Ben, go to the gym like me, man. It's such a, oh, it's so funny. Nemo, I know, I think you follow me on Instagram, which is why you're saying that. I haven't been going to the gym. Because of this job. I've been working 11 to 12 hours every single day. And so I kind of dropped the ball on going to the gym. But I will be going back this week. I just think it's funny that you say that because Ben is the one that tells me to go to the gym all the time. Good fun, though. Good fun. Let's turn these memory spheres on. Now you can see that we're adding in all of these extra orbs just kind of like laying around. I just turn these off every now and then. Whoa, whoops. Oh, that's right. I'm turning... Let's do instanced orbs. Yeah, there we go. And then if we select these spheres here, I can kind of just like duplicate these around. Just want one right there as well. Yeah, Ben gets jacked, man. We're trying to look good because we're going on a cruise together with like some friends in October. And we're going to New Zealand, everybody. I have never been, but I am super excited because I'm a fan of Lord of the Rings and all that jazz. So if you guys have places in like Australia/New Zealand that you recommend as things to do for all of you wonderful world travelers out there, then do let me know. I appreciate the recommendations. Placing these kind of like spheres, I feel like that's pretty good. I might just do, let's do one there. I'm gonna just try to, let's do that. That kind of like lines up the ground a little better. It's a little dirtier on the ground now. Let's go and save this. I want to look at like, so I have this. I think we want some pallets laying back here. I think that would be fun to model real quick. Just filling up the environment really is what our goal is today before we render out some passes. I know enough about pallets, guys. I used pallets to build half my set, so I've got these guys down. All right, let's see. Let's do that. Just bevel it up a little bit. Oh, well, I could apply all transforms. Actually, wait a second. We want to apply specifically the scale, not the transforms. Because if we apply that, then we can bevel things a little more evenly. And honestly, we can keep this low poly for right now. And then in here, let's just duplicate that upwards. Something like that should do. The cool thing about, you know, palettes is you can, you know, have them a little off. They don't have to be straight. They don't have to be perfect. There we go. Just duplicate this guy and move him up. And I think that's good for the palette. That's like the front facing. Today you have to finish this project. I think you took Center to make it. Existing for the you're waiting for the next project? For sure, dude. I'm waiting for the next project too. You can ask Ben. I was pretty close to failure. I'm gonna take that. This has certainly been a challenging project for sure, but I'm really excited with how it's turned out. It's almost done. There we go. Okay, that works. And then we'll take this whole thing. Well, okay, wait. What do palettes look like? I gotta research what a palette looks like. Palette. Give me pictures. Give me pictures. All it's showing is old men fishing. Did I search the wrong word? I was gonna just duplicate this to the other side here, and I think that's my palette. I think that works. How's that look, guys? We got ourselves like a nice little palette going for us now. So we could take this. Let's grab this, move it over. We'll just line this guy up. There we go. And see, we got one there. I mean, I guess we want it further away. I don't know. I think the one there is fine. And if we just duplicate this, move this all the way over here to the other side, I think this will look nice as well. Oops. Scale that up a little bit. There you go. Now it's leaning up against the background. So now if we duplicate this guy, we got ourselves some palettes laying in the background. And that just adds a little extra, like, you know, noise to the scene, I suppose. So we can save that. Look at some of the other stuff. I know I have a forklift. Actually, don't know where my floor cliff went. Got our environment. There we go. It's the lift. Just turn that guy on. And then they got like the jello bean dudes that are, you know, throughout the world in the actual movie. I mean, we could make those, but I feel like it's a bit of an overkill. We don't need that. Okay. And then, yeah, that's a palette. We'll just lay that kind of back here, I think. And I realized we probably should duplicate this guy. Yeah. We don't need it for any of the other ones. You need to go? All good? Hey, thanks for dropping by, though. Appreciate seeing you. As always, you have a good rest of your week, and I will see you next week. Hopefully, we will be doing a new stream, so it'll be a new endeavor, as they say. I was planning on doing I know what I was planning on doing before, but well, this took a little longer than I was hoping to, so I don't know if I'm gonna adjust that. But we'll be back next week with a whole new stream. Have a good rest of your day as well. Okay, that works for those. Let's go ahead and save that. The real trick, by the way, with rendering this out is going to be rendering it in passes, because we're going to want to add in all of these like glow effects, and that's going to happen behind people. But we could render it as passes, or we could render it out with cryptomats and then use edge extend in order for us to be able to get the look of that going. Please say yes for the next stream. I like your stream. I'm learning something new. Yes, I will be streaming next week for sure, 100%. It's just not quite sure what we'll be streaming yet, but that's all. We'll figure that out beforehand. But we're 100% streaming next week. I can't think of a reason why I won't be. If I do, Oh yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully there won't be a reason why I can't. Just adding some more hotspots into the environment here. Hey, Diego, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Let's see how the lighting looks now with that. Welcome, Diego, back into the chat. I kind of like that lighting, I think. On her, I want a little bit more light. I think that's the trick right now that I'm looking for. Is let's take this guy here. She's just a bit side lighty. I'm just going to point that on the front of her face. Give her just a little bit more of a key light on her. Oh, that's already feeling quite a bit better. She just felt like she just didn't have much light on her before. I do want to have the shadows on the side there. We're kind of doing that in our shading composite because we're telling it from the camera's perspective always to have this like kind of like darker and purplish look from our shading that we're doing. That looks good. I like that a lot. That's starting to feel pretty good, guys. As far as all of the modeling is concerned, I might want a little bit more light from the top here. So let's add that in. I'm gonna duplicate my area light that I have. We're just gonna point that all the way up here and scale that all the way up. I might need to adjust this model because it's not giving me very much room. Hey, Slayer Fair VFX, welcome into the chat. How you doing? New chatter alert, everybody. Let's add a cursor selected here. I'm going to just use this. If we can select this face now, I'm just going to scale on the 3D cursor backwards. So that way we can create just a little bit of a lip. And with that, I can then grab this, just create a nice little edge. Nothing crazy, but it just gives us a nice little lip there. And so that way, if I point this light on it, I can get a little more brightness. That way it feels like the environment above is brighter than the environment below. Which, it's giving me a little bit of some flack. What's going on here? Oh, do I have... Am I using... I am. We're going to remove our light linking settings that we have, guys, because... oh, no! Okay, wait a second. So, yeah, I'm going to Control-Z all that, and then I'm just going to remove the light linking settings. I almost screwed that up there. Oh, that could have been bad. And then for this, let's add... a little bit more brightness. How bright does this gotta be? Oh, that's too bright. I just find that I have to like find the happy medium between everything. It's pretty good. Not angry about that. Okay. No, I am angry about that. What am I saying? I don't like it. And that's a problem. Can I get this to be a little more toppy and then increase the brightness? We'll go in here, and I just want to add a little bit more of a lip. And that just creates a little bit more of a fade now between that and the top there. Beautiful, guys. Beautiful. Yeah, I think that works. Now, as far as the brightness of the sky goes, I think I like that. That works for me as well. You know, I don't like these hairs. Not a fan. So we're going to make some adjustments to that. It's these hairs specifically here. Which ones are you? Are you this last one? You are. So if you select this, you can go into particle edit mode. Oh, interesting. Oh, because those are all children, aren't they? Gotcha. And I feel like there's just not, it's not smooth enough. It feels too low poly. We gave Joy a haircut, guys. Joy's got the haircut. Thanks for the 100s, though. Thanks for the emojis. You guys have to watch that on like vertical, or not vertical. What's it called mode? Like you're on YouTube phone, I guess. Let's see. How do you send in? Want to up-res the hair. Let's go back to object mode. Well, this isn't exactly real time, to be fair, but it's pretty good. You think she looks lovely? Well, thank you. Yeah, it's not it's a little delayed, but it's a couple things. First of all, I set my preference settings for my system to OpticX, but I'm also running a 3080 Ti, which I'm sure is helping quite a bit. And then also make sure that your render settings are set to GPU compute, not CPU. So, there's a little bit of a delay going on, but it's not too bad. So it's these steps here. I imagine if we upped this, then we're going to get like a nice smoother, you know, curve that's going on. And then the second thing is if we go to children, I want to change the length here to like 0.3 of what it was. That might fix it. 0.6. Oh, not 6. 0.6. And then that also is going to make it smaller. And then the other thing is if we did set this to like the full size of 1, all we really need to do is change the shape of it as well. So if we go down to hair shape, we can change the diameter of the root to something like a 0.1. And that'll make it quite a bit smaller. So that way we get these like tiny thin hairs that are on her head. So let's let that render out for a second. Yeah, it's not bad. That works for me. Now let's work on her arms. So we're going to save this. Let's go over here to the shader settings here. And then I'm going to just call this skin arm. And if we have our shader settings open here, this is our shader that we were using for the entirety of the face so far. We're going to go in and disable a few things, okay? So first of which, the lips. We don't need the lips, so we're going to get rid of the lips in the mouth and all that jazz. So if we get rid of that, should only give us, again, skin arm. We'll set that to 1. Or no, I guess we'll set that to nothing. Perfect. And again, this is taking the lips here, and so you're going to throw that into this guy, and then let's just say 0. And this is the makeup effects. We get rid of that, set that to 0. Great, so now we just have the skin shader. Now we can go through and clean up all these excess nodes. Honestly, we could probably have just plugged this directly into this, for instance, because we're not mixing this anymore. I'm just going to clean everything up here. Then this can get plugged into this guy, because we're not using that makeup effect. And then this guy can get plugged directly into this guy, because we're not using that makeup effect. We're not using any of this anymore. And we'll keep all of this, I believe. Well, what is this exactly? This is freckles. Freckles are fine. This is rosy cheeks. We don't need rosy cheeks, so we'll get rid of that. Boom, boom. Done, done. We can take this, plug this directly into this guy. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Lots of cleanup, guys. Just cleaning things up one by one. Okay, great. Move that all the way over there. And then now we only have our 2 different things here, which is the purple effect that we want, as well as the actual skin shader. So now, since we have this new material called skin arm, let's go ahead and select our other arm here. And we'll just go ahead and select skin arm for that as well. And that should just remove all of those stretch mark lines that we had. So we'll go ahead and save button there. Now, we had messed a little bit around with this before, and we can continue working on this now. So we have all of our memories here. So our memories orbs. Let's turn those off as well. And we're going to work a little bit on this effect, which was adding kind of like these particles that are facing the camera. Well, before we get into that, because I don't want to get into the minutia of all that crap, node-based work is difficult. Yeah, it can be, but as soon as like I feel like you get your brain like just like, hey, this is how it works, then it's really nice. I use Nuke, so you composite with nodes, and so like Blender shading and like that, it's like there's a lot of crossovers. So highly recommend working in nodes because it's pretty standardized workflow for a lot of different things. Go ahead and save this. I'm gonna select specifically one of these guys and just make these kind of like we're gonna finish adding shaders on all of this, and then we'll work on the skin shader next after all that. So metal rings. This is a pretty straightforward material, just a little metallic, pretty rough, a little bronzy. Yep, that works. Save. And we need this lovely pattern on this this package. How do we do that? Oh my gosh. This will be a fun one, won't it? How do we go about doing that easily? I mean, we could just make it inside of like Photoshop or something like that, I'm sure. Let's see. Let's open this up. And we're gonna go to, I like to do Polyhaven for textures. And go to textures here. And we can find some cloth textures. And this is usually a nice starting place. It's just find like a fabric texture like this, go ahead and download this to our stream materials and assets. Go ahead and save that. And actually, I need the folder, please. Oops, I still opened up the zip file after all of that. And then we've got our textures here. Now what I like to do is drop these textures in, and I don't use the color. I only use the normals, and I use the roughness. Oh, whoops. We don't want to do this on our metal, though. So select this guy here, and we'll create this one, and this will be called bag fabric. And then again, we don't need this diffuse color. We only need the normals, the roughness. We drag both those guys in. And we can plug in the roughness onto our roughness here. And then we can plug our normal into the normal. Now with normals, you'll need to turn this into a bump. Actually, wait, no, not a bump. You want to do this as a normal map. So you're converting it from normals, from like RGB basically to normal space, and you're converting that all the way into that for this material. And for this guy, let's just assign our texture. Don't know why he's so dark. Where's he living exactly? He's right here, as well as the Bezier curve. Wonder if we put these under character. Yeah, there we go. Because he wasn't being lit the same way the character was, because the character had their own light collection, basically. So now he's too bright, but that's all good. It's fine. We can live with that for right now. But now we can adjust this base color to be whatever texture we want, and that gives us the ability to have a fabric material on whatever texture that we generate. So let's do this. Let's go find clip art of candy. Yeah. And we got all these wonderful, like, Jolly Rancher style things. Yes. We'll take you. We're going to steal this. We'll download this to our assets here. Save. Oh. Well, this might be somewhat annoyingly problematic. Let's see. Lollipops. Do we got some lollipops? We've got one. Download a lollipop pattern. Save it. Another lollipop pattern. Save it. We're just taking all the clip arts, dudes. We're taking it all. Alright, so now, theoretically, we just need to change this texture here, which you can see the fabric materials already on there. I'm going to open up Photoshop. That's the plan. Okay. It's all good to go. Now let's just create a new custom texture, which will just be 1920 by 1920. That's all fine. I don't really care about any of this. We're going to adjust all of it later anyways. But inside of this Photoshop now, I've got this blank canvas set up. Wants me to update. I'm using beta, so it like asks me to update it every like freaking 5 minutes. And we want to create kind of like this purplish texture now. So let's go ahead and just use the paint bucket. Find ourselves a nice color. A little more blue, I think. Something like that. It's going to get darker in other areas. I feel like it should be a little more desaturated. So if we do something like this or that, that looks pretty good. Now we just need to make a pattern, basically. So using these lovely images that we just downloaded, let's just move this over here. Grab this guy. We got ourselves some patterned Jolly Ranchers or whatever. I'm going to use select color range, and we'll just select the white area. We basically just want to delete everything. Rasterize the image first. That's almost good. We'll do select color range. And we're going to increase this fuzziness to like the absolute most. Might just delete that guy actually. Delete. We don't need a blue one. No blue ones for us. Make our own blue one. And now, if we just use this, we can kind of select each one of these and separate them by their own, you know, pattern. Open that up in a second. Yeah, what's like a design of Jolly, or what are these? These aren't Jolly Ranchers, are they? Just has to be seamless, which isn't that hard to do. Do that, and then the last two here, so we just go boop, select this guy, delete him, repaste him, whoopsies. And then finally this last guy. Honestly, we're making the crappiest looking design of a bag ever, but it's okay. Trust the process. Famous last words, guys. Famous last words. Do magic wand on this guy. We'll just select him. Rasterize the image first, and then delete. And then another Jolly Rancher thing. And then I feel like we need one more piece of candy. Just something different. Oh, that's cool. By the way, these are all licensable. I hope I don't get in trouble. I just realized that. It's okay, though. We found it on Google. It's not our fault. Google's using it for sales as well. Why is that okay? Why is Google allowed to use it so that they can make money off of people using their search engine? But it's not okay for other people. Okay, there's the crappiest looking design that you guys have ever seen. You know, it's but it's good because this is what we wanted. Oh, it's so bad. clip art overlay specs. I don't even know what I was looking for there. Like snowflakes. Something magical is what we're going for here. Just go ahead and save this, honestly. Guys, we're just making up crap at this point. Okay, overlay that, and then we'll just use like something like screen. Use screen. Make that really low. And that should work. I think if we use the eraser right now, and we select this guy, you could also use the, just your paintbrush, and then just scale up the paintbrush, and we can get rid of some of these edge specks because we don't want it to see any clipped lines. There you go. Alrighty then. So we're now going to save this design, which, by the way, I mean, they're all... Okay, here's the thing. We could take all of our different peppermint layers and all that crap, and then we can merge these together. So let's merge the layers together. And then if we kind of just like use some kind of like blending mode, I think that would probably be best. Something like that. Where now it feels like it's all part of the same color palette. We don't need to save that. But if we now export this as a PNG to our folder, where is that going to be located? Over here into streams, today's date, and materials. We have assets, and we'll just call this guy something like bag art. Works for me. So now we go over into our rendered settings here. We're going to use an image texture, and we'll just hit open and find that same exact material for our assets, bag art. Plug that into base color. And now, using something like a texture mapping node, I'm going to just move this all back here, and we can use object or generated, which doesn't look good, UV, which works the best, and then we'll use value, and then we'll just increase this to a higher value for the scale. And there you go. We got our candies just like hanging out on our bag. It's so cute. Kinda. Might scale it actually a little bit up. Let's do like a 3. It's not exact to what it was on the other one, but I like that. I think that works pretty nice. And now, let's see. We have this cable wire. I think that's a pretty straightforward texture, honestly. We'll just call this rope. And inside of our rope settings, for my sanity right now, guys, I'm turning our character off. Oh, I can't turn it off, can I? Let's see. What can I do? I don't know why the arms are separate than everything else. Let's see. We've got this guy here. Under our character, we're going to create a new collection, and we'll call this main. Select this guy, this guy, this guy. And these are our arms that we basically created. And we're just going to move all of those under main. How do you appear the other nodes in texture node? How did you make appear the other nodes in texture node? What do you mean? How do you like these eyeballs, baby? Select all. That's creepy. Just kind of moving everything into here for right now. Move that to main. Move that to main. There we go. Now we just got a floating tooth. I don't think that's that bad. Just got a random floating tooth, guys. How did I make the nodes appear? I'm not quite sure what you mean. I'm mostly doing this right now, by the way, guys, because this will make it a little easier. Sometimes in order for you to preview things faster, it's just easier to like disable stuff like particles. And I don't know why this cube wants to be visible. He's like, I don't want to be hidden. I always have to be available to society. Which I don't blame you, man. But I need you under main, not under this empty out here. I mean, you put the texture nodes, put the candy image, and then you make appear 2 other nodes. Oh, right. Yes. Good question. I'll just do that again. If you select bag art, you can press Control T. This is part of a plugin called Node Wrangler, which is installed on every Blender. If you go to add-ons, you search Node Wrangler, and enable that. This allows you to be able to add in the mapping and texture node. Very useful. And then I just added value, which with the value of 3, and then plug that into scale to scale down that. But this allows you to basically change your texture coordinate information really easily, and then be able to change location, rotation, as well as the scale using stuff like this. It's a built-in add-on called Node Wrangler. Exactly. Lego Duck Animations got you. Ducky's got it. But yeah, anyways, I don't know why this tooth decided that it wants to not be. Why are you being the way that you are? Hide. Now, I just got like this random tooth floating in the middle of the air. I mean, it only bothers me. It doesn't, like, it's not an actual issue. It just bothers me, okay? Okay, with this rope, let's go ahead and add in some materials. So first of all, rope's going to be like a rope. Booyah, done, right? Nope, not done. It's a little orangey though. Just going to take that down a notch. And then if we use something like, can we use like wavelength? No. It's like a wave texture. Can we do that? Wave texture is pretty close. Want it a little bit more sideways. Y-band. Hats off to me. I'll make it. Thanks, Rohan. Appreciate it. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Just trying to make myself a rope here. Honestly, it's a little glitchy, but I think we could get away with it. So I'm creating the kind of like the outline effect here. If we use a color ramp now, oops, not a mixed color. If we use a color ramp and we just make this a little more contrasty. This works for the thing down here, but not everything else. Couldn't use a cylinder as an object for the texture coordinate. You know what? Maybe. Oh, I see what you're saying. As an object for the texture coordinate, using a. Not quite sure actually. Because that's using normals. Because this is all based off of. This is like always one of those fun things to try to figure out. You're saying using like a cylinder as the object for the texture coordinate. Not quite sure. It looks good for this part here, but I know it's because the bad part is hidden behind the bag here. And that's this part right here. I feel like this all works. Object coordinates are not based off the shape of the object, but the position. Yeah, that's what I thought. In scale. Yeah, I'm one because you can't copy UVs from another object to another object. Not that I know of anyways. Although that would be super cool if you could. Like if you could say, hey, select this object over here and then use the UVs from that. Well, actually you can, can't you? Let's say we added a cylinder. That guy all the way back there. Select that cylinder and then use the UVs from that. Does that not work? Or is that only going to take the position and scale of it away all the way from over there? Yeah, it is a curve. It's a curve that I need to figure out how to do the rope texture on, which you can kind of do. There's always these things like I don't ever do this, so it's always fun to try to figure it out. Let's see. We've got ourselves environmental texture and multiple point density cloud. I don't think noise texture has anything in it that we would find useful. The array modifier to stretch objects around a curve. To create like an actual 3D positioning of it. Yeah, probably. I was just going to do it inside of shading because we're not doing anything close up on it, honestly. So I was going to try to use something with like the wave texture. Or just the regular curve modifier. Let's see, bands. We've got ourselves some rings. Haha! There we go, guys. I figured it out. There we go. You got yourself a rope texture. I think if you do distort a little bit more, that looks pretty good. Now you take this and let's take this plus a bump node. Plug this into the strength. Plug this into the displacement. Plug this into the surface. And that's going to give you that. So then you go into here and then you find the settings for your displacement is bump only. Swap this to displacement and bump. Oh, wow. Change the strength of that to be a lot smaller. Like, oh, wow, way smaller. I don't... Use math. Multiply. 0.01. Is this supposed to get plugged into distance? I think so. And then... that should work, but I might not have enough vertices. Yeah, it goes into... Oh, into height. You're right. You're right. I don't know what I'm thinking. Let's go into... So that's a curve. Okay. We're on to something here, guys. I need to convert this curve. Where's my Bezier curve? There it is. We're going to do object, convert. Where are you at? Convert to mesh. Take this whole thing. and subdivide, subdivide, subdivide. Maybe we don't have to do that. I don't know, but I did it anyways. Either way, now we take that and we take an RGB node and we take the value from this base color. You also still have being multiplied by 0.001. Just, it's making it fat. I don't know why it's doing that. It shouldn't do that. Because this is the values that it's multiplying it by, right? I don't know. I thought that was correct. And then we use a mix color node with that plugged into there, and that plugged into there, and this plugged into there, and then we swap these because they're backwards. And then you got yourself that, and then you can plug this guy all the way into the base color. And then if you view the base color, you're getting yourself a little something that doesn't look good. But it's all good, because in the end of the day, life isn't about looking good, it's about having a good time. Whatever that means. So let's go ahead and view our mat now, and then we're just gonna make our thing thicker, and then now we go view that again, and that should look a little bit better. Like, you know, you feel a little less bad about yourself. And we're just gonna darken up the main rope like so. That's pretty good. Stream delay, maybe try decreasing the strength instead of the math, because multiplying the normal output. Yeah, there's a little bit of stream delay. Then we plug that back into displacement. And then you said trying to change the strength instead of the math because it's multiplying the normal output. Yes. Just going to make that really small. And then adjust the strength here. Well, it's not doing anything. That's not doing anything. I thought I knew what I was doing, and I don't. So unless that doesn't go into height, does it go into normal, and then I'm supposed to do that? I could do a normal map, then have this guy plug into normal instead. There we go. That kind of works. And then we invert that. Although that all looks correct. This needs to be multiplying by a negative number. Yeah, that kind of worked. Guys, that kind of worked. Because you're changing already converted output from the normal node, which then is plugged into something expecting the normal input. Yeah, I guess. I guess that was the answer. So let's get that to plug into color, so that way we have a little bit more information. Although, actually that kind of works. I would say let's get this color to plug into the color there. And then this guy, we just decrease the value a bit. So let's increase that up a little. There you go. Now we got some nice rope action going on in there. Lovely. Awesome. Was it worth it? No, it wasn't. But we made memories while it lasted. Let's change the saturation now just to add a little more oomph to this rope. Let's change that to not go as dark now. Great. Go ahead and save that. Fantastic, guys. Now let's look at her dress. She's got these wonderful, beautiful flowers on a green dress. We're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're going to take the dress that we have, and let's go add a new material and call this dress. Okay? Done. Guys, we're done. It's green and we're good. No. We're going to do the same thing with grabbing fabric. So we'll do our normal pass and a roughness pass. We plug the roughness into roughness, obviously. And then we go ahead and plug the normals over into our normal. But we have to convert it, of course, to our normal space. So using a normal map node. And that's going to give us our lovely textures. The only thing to be concerned about at this point with this dress, I can't really see it too well, is how is the mapping going for like the roughness and stuff like that. So if we just, you know, viewed this guy, which doesn't have all that much roughness going on here, but if we use a color ramp and we just use generate it, see what that looks like. Generate it's gonna look a little bit nicer for most of this, honestly. Yeah, let's use this generated texture coordinates. We'll go ahead and plug that into both the vectors of these guys here. And if we view just that guy versus, yeah, let's get rid of this color ramp. Plug this guy directly into roughness now. And so now we just got ourselves a regular green dress. But that's not good enough. We need our texture of her dress here. So let's go into this guy now. We'll hit new. Create custom. And I'm going to make this a little bit larger of a texture. 4096 by 4096. Go ahead and create that. And can I can't. I like her color of her dress, and I don't want to have to futz with this, so we're just going to drag this image in, and then using the color picker tool, just select the nice middle green. Something like that. Definitely not that. Okay. Now let's get ourselves a nice floral design. What were you trying to say earlier? Oh, wait. What I was trying to say earlier was I think that the purple output from the bump node was being converted to gray output again by the multiply node. Oh, so yeah, I think you're right, because you should use a bump node with the math. Interesting. I didn't think about that. That's a good point, though. Am I still breaking that? Or I'll take a look at that. I'm kind of curious. I'm trying to find something that feels similar. I don't want to go too off book here. I don't want the dress. I don't want the dress. Thin flowers? Is that what I have to say? How do you get the design that you have in your head? I don't know. You know what we could do? We could cheat. I like to cheat every now and then. every now and then, I do like to cheat. What we could do is we have like this little section of her dress here. Or, 1 second. Joy from Inside Out. Yes. We're gonna cheat for sure, guys. Let's grab this guy. Open image, new tab, shave these images. I don't even know who made this. It's a WebP file. I don't even know what that is. And we're gonna drag this in. I'm sure it's low res too, but it don't matter. Gonna find a good section of it. That's fine. And let's just select her. Oopsies. Select everything. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Select all of that, guys. Select all the outside as well. Oopsies. Screwed that up. It's okay to make some mistakes. That's the great thing about AI. You don't have to be good anymore. You don't have to be precise. The computer does this for you. Okay. Just get rid of that. Let's do that. Okay. And it's all good. Okay, so now we got all that selected. The idea here is that if we select everything except for the areas that we want to keep, we hit generate fill, generate, and it might continue the pattern design for us for everything else. The idea being that we're creating a pattern based off of an image of something that we already have. And that almost worked. This works better than nothing, I guess. So yeah, just select the areas that didn't work. Just continue your selections. Just got like these blue fireworks. Generate. Just keep it going. We're going to try to create like a flat design as much as possible. Realistically, we don't want these shadows if we can help it. So we're going to get rid of those in a second. Now that you mentioned AI, I've seen the use of AI on set or in pre-post. Have I seen it used in... Oh yeah, have I seen it in pre-production, post-production? I haven't seen it incredibly a lot. I will say, it's like, what is AI? Like, when you're talking about AI, are we talking about, like, the crazy thing that everybody's afraid of? Like, just does a VFX shot for you type of thing? Or are we talking about, you know, just what AI actually is, which is just machine learning? Because then yes, yeah, I've seen it used. I worked on a show called Ted Lasso last year, and we used it then for some de-aging work. But it's not what you think. I think everybody's head of what AI is they think, oh, it's just you press a button and it happens. All AI really is just machine learning. So you can use machine learning in a number of ways, and that help you know, do different tasks, that automate tasks. So for instance, for us, we created an AI model that basically de-aged the actors. We created keyframes of what they would look like younger, and then we created the keyframes of what they look like now, and then used that to basically tell the computer how to de-age them using those frames. So it was like a lot of man hours basically building the AI models that would then be used in production. And that worked incredibly well. So, you know, have I seen it used in production? In that regards, yes, as far as post-production is concerned. But, you know, like it's not as... I guess, scary as everybody likes to talk about it as. Let's merge all these layers. Was that using Copycat? Yes, Copycat and Nuke was how we did that. And a little bit of Stable Diffusion in order to generate some of the younger versions of the people on that specific job. Let's see. Let's go to filters. Is it other? Offset. We're just going to offset this guy the other direction. I don't like... Wait, what am I doing here? If I do this and then I do select inverse. Well, is that... I'm curious. This guy... Convert to smart object. Want to rasterize it, I think. Now if we disable this, I think this layer is not going to be that big. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. Sorry. I was got a little distracted there for a second. What we're trying to do is create a seamless texture. So now we go into filter, other, and then select offset. And we're just going to offset this like a negative number, probably something like so. Should be good. Select this whole thing here, and then we just generate generate. So now it's seamless on this part as well as this part. That's good. Take that, merge the layers. And then now we're going to go back into filter and then other offset. But this time we'll set that to 0, and then we'll set this to a negative 1700. Should be good. And then the last film I worked on, the AI stuff I used there, which was quite interesting, was I used a little bit of this generative fill stuff for like paint outs for like matte paintings and whatnot, and that was quite useful, especially on stuff where they didn't capture clean plates of environments or something like that. We were able to use Copycat to basically blend the seams, and that worked pretty well. The big issue with a lot of AI stuff is honestly the fact that it's not that good for HDR grading. So you know, but as like an experimental use case, and then like using that as like a foundation of what you're trying to do, you can take that into something like Nuke, and then you can add in kind of the depth that the image needs to have on the highlights, as well as the low areas, because it can get a little mushy. AI is just like, it works really well like with 8-bit material, but as soon as you try to make things 32-bit, it just starts to fall apart. Okay, so now we'll take this guy, we'll export this as a dress. We'll call this Joy Dress Art. And we'll just plug this in now. So this should be 100% seamless. So if we go into here, say image texture, open. Let's find this guy under materials and assets. We've got ourselves our dress, which unfortunately has some wrinkles like built into the color of it. But you know what? We'll get away with it. It's fine. Just going to add in a mapping node and we'll swap this to generated, because we don't have a good UV of this. Although we can make our own UV. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but there you go. Now we've got ourselves our floral pattern on our dress. I think the only thing we're going to want to do is change the amount of this bump here to be something a little less. Go ahead and save that. But yeah, I mean, as far as AI stuff goes, I mean, the other thing that's like a lot of AI that, you know, again, no one really talks about, but DaVinci Resolve has had some AI matte generating stuff for like quite a while now. We just started using this new program called Switchlight, which was pretty phenomenal. You guys should check it out. Met the guys at NAB this year. It was NAB. The way it works is that it can generate alpha channels for mattes for you, but it also generates normals, roughness, specularity, and like bump nodes and all that stuff, depth maps, all based off of your image. So if you feed it a video sequence of images, it uses AI to basically generate the normals and like the roughness of your skin and stuff like that. We did find that it's not quite, you have to have pretty perfect scenarios for it to generate the alpha correctly. However, one thing that it worked was that we were hiring a bunch of roto artists for this film, and they would give us this beautiful roto that they created. I don't even know how they made it. I'm sure that they just used Silhouette or some program like that. And they would give us the roto of that. And then if I fed that into the alpha channel and then gave that to Switchlight, it worked so ridiculously good. I really can't wait till this film's out. I want to show you guys what we used it on. But we had some of this like crazy lighting of this whole sequence, and we were able to relight it completely if we wanted to. I could completely remove this harsh like red lighting that they had, and I could make it look like normal skin tones again. And I could completely relight it however I wanted in CG. It was pretty fantastic. I think that stuff is just mind-blowing because it gives you like an albedo pass with no shadows whatsoever on the skin, and then it gives you all of the specularity pass, the roughness pass, like everything you could possibly need of like a human skin, and it would just give it to you. And it was so good, guys. It was so good. I'm gonna show you guys this stuff. Like, I'm so excited about, like, I met those guys at NAB, super nice guys. I had seen a demo of it the year before this year at NAB, and it blew my mind then, and it has only gotten better. So that kind of stuff is really going to revolutionize, you know, the visual effects of compositing and being able to relight stuff in post. So in your experience, is there more like another tool to enhance the workflow more than, oh, AI is going to leave people without jobs? So I've talked about this a little bit before. I'm not of the opinion that AI is just replacing people. Or jobs completely. I don't think it's going to be like, hey, AI is just going to replace everybody and there's going to be no visual effects jobs. My opinion is that AI is kind of more of a tool, and it's one of those things that I think people are going to learn to use, especially in visual effects. It's just not something that does what you want right off the bat. It's really hard to describe what you want. And, you know, working with clients, you'll realize that very quickly. Someone may say something, but they want something very different. But that's something that you learn as a person, is how someone talks, or, you know, what do they really mean when they're asking for something to feel aggressive. AI doesn't know what that is. They don't know what that word means. But that is a word that, you know, a lot of filmmakers use to describe a feeling that they get when they watch stuff, because people give notes based off of feelings, not off of what they actually know. If they think that something doesn't look right inside of your visual effects shot, they'll say that. They'll be like, hey, I don't know what it is, but something feels off to me. And that is something that AI can't replace. It really depends. Some jobs become redundant. If a company can save money, they will try to do everything to do so. Ideally, the models are only supportive. True, yeah, and I think that is the case. However, I will fight back a little bit, Hasselhoff. I think you're right. It is, companies will try to save money as much as possible. However, a good thing to think about is that it will make visual effects overall cheaper. And I've said this for a while now. This is kind of just my general thought. And you know what? I might be wrong, but this is just my opinion. I believe that visual effects is going to be more democratized, to the sense that it's not going to be gatekept by only Marvel films get to have big visual effects. You know, now you get a bunch more films. You get all the thousands and thousands thousands, not hundreds, not tens, but thousands and thousands of indie films that are made every single year are going to want to have that same kind of effects. And it's going to be cheaper per shot, which means I believe that there's going to just be more work in the end of the day, which means that more visual effects artists are going to be needed to fulfill that. The way I kind of think of it is the traditional animation to digital animation boom that happened in the early 2000s. Everyone was like, oh, this is the death of, the artist, because you need less artists to basically be able to create CG animation. And what really happened is that now we have more animated films than we ever had before. Disney went bankrupt making Pocahontas and Snow White. It went bankrupt because it was so expensive to make animated films. But Disney himself was like, oh, I care so much and I want to make this. I want to make a feature film. No one had ever done it before, but he was like, he cared so much that he went bankrupt just to make that film happen. And like nowadays, it's like, it's crazy. Like, a single person can go make a whole animated film using something like Blender. It's kind of has changed the whole aspect of the industry, but it wasn't the death of animation. It wasn't the death of artists. It was actually a boom in a sense to more artists being needed because now there was more work to be done. And I don't know, maybe that's just my optimism. I know I'm a little optimistic, but that's just my optimistic approach to like this whole AI thing. I think that it's not going to be the death of, the artist. I think that in the curve and the way things will happen is that it'll feel like less artists will be needed on a per shot basis, but then there'll be more shots for artists to work on. But you know what? That's just a theory. I'm going to close that. Let's go back over here. I'm going to find myself a nice, good wooden texture. That's kind of good. The worn planks. Let's grab this guy, download it. We'll extract this over here, and then we could grab these materials and drag them in. I'm going to create a new material. We'll call this wood planks. And load these guys in. But what is your guys' opinion? I guess I'm curious. Do you guys really think that AI, I know that's kind of the talking point right now, is that it's, everybody's so afraid of it taking like everybody's jobs. I feel a little more optimistic about it. I tend to feel a little more optimistic than, other people do. I think some people are a little doomsday about everything. You don't want things to be easy. You want to suffer, and I want to do so all the way through. Hey, buddy, you know what? I'll give that to you. I don't like to suffer personally, so I'll have to pass on that. Okay, let's grab that. If I scale this on the Y, that's pretty good, actually. Artists should spend more time learning the tools instead of complaining about it on social media, because if they don't, someone who will and take their jobs. That is true. And you know what? Hey, historically speaking, that did happen, by the way. That did happen. And that's what happened during the digital media of artists, basically. All of the ones that did not want to adapt to, they were like, hey, we want to do animatronics instead of CG characters. Those people, unfortunately, did not adapt. And that's where a lot of people did lose their jobs. But I believe that there were a lot of jobs created as well. I mean, we wouldn't have gotten some of the crazy things that we've gotten in cinema so far if we didn't have that. plug that in over here, and then get this guy to go into displacement. Smaller projects will include more and more AI because you don't do anything. Some classmates used AI for music, and I hated it. I'm bad at music, but I have friends that I like to support. True. That is true. Although, I mean, I don't know. How good is the music stuff these days? Well, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and save that. I was messing around a little bit with the... what's that? Suno. Suno is like a... You can make songs from, like, AI. You can, like, write the lyrics and stuff like that, which I thought was super cool. Could also happen that the entry barrier for music / CGI, etc. becomes higher and higher as the AI can reach a certain level within seconds. True. Although, I mean, I don't know. So you're saying the entry level. I guess what you're... I guess the entry level would be that... What? People don't do that? Or there's less CG artists? Because I think actually it'll probably be easier to be like a real CG artist. Because there'll be less of them. There's less competition. Because here's the thing, a lot of people are lazy, man. So many people are lazy. So what's going to end up happening is there's going to be less people that work really hard to be really good at CG. So then you get to charge more because there will be less people that you have to fight up against. Let's see. Okay, that works pretty nice. Kind of fine with everything now. Let's turn on the orbs just to see what that looks like. And then let's turn on our main character. What do you guys think? It's looking pretty good. Pretty good indeed. This is the close-up of it. This is before compositing. If a company can only achieve mediocre results with AI, it will not hire novice / intermediate artists. That's why my take is that it should be better than AI, and you'll be fine. Okay, I'm going to render this out with a couple different passes, and then that way we can try to achieve some of the glowy effects that we want. But I'm thinking that this is pretty good for a render out of Blender, and then we can kind of get everything else we want from here. So let's do that. See how long this render even takes. I'm going to want to enable, let's go over to our settings here. I'm going to want to enable, let's go to passes over here. Turn on cryptomats for objects and materials. And then let's see. We don't really need anything else. We don't need to turn on any of that stuff. Color management. We are just outputting this as... want to, whoopsies. Scroll down towards Aces CG. It's at the very top of our list here. So let's select that. And then let's go over here from PNG. We'll do OpenEXR multi-layer. And then for color management, override it and make sure it says ACCG as well. Okay. Just going to turn that off so that way I can render this a little bit faster. And get that going. Was it, there we go. Hey guys, how's it going there? But yeah, I mean, I think my personal opinion is that AI is just a tool, and like I don't know that it's lazy, because what are you saying, that it's lazy to do animation in Blender versus stop motion animation with claymation? Because that's like, that was the natural progress of how animation went about, right? Like you went from sketching things and doing claymation and things like that to now you are creating it inside of a 3D software and are able to do it at 20 times the speed and way easier. Is it lazy to go buy 3D assets from a store instead of you modeling everything by hand yourself? Is it lazy to do any of that stuff? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's lazy. I think that's just a different form of how the artwork will progress and how artists have moved on. And I think AI is just another step to that, where is it really lazy to because art isn't about what's more lazy or less lazy. Like, it's not about, hey, it took him longer to create that than this other person. If it were, then there would a lot, there'd be more arguments to like the question would be like, oh, hey, how long did it take you to animate that film? Pixar versus DreamWorks. DreamWorks does their films in like 2.5 to 3 years. Pixar takes 4 years. So is it because Universal is being lazy and that they don't want DreamWorks to spend more time and money on their films, that they are being lazy and their films are less good? No, like they make great films as well. They're just different. We always view films and the stories that are told based off of the stories that are told, not based off of what is or how long it took you to create something. Because that's not what the qualification of art is. Art is not about how long something takes you to do. It's about the expression of the emotions. It's about the expression of the story and the characters. And do you feel something when watching it? That is what art is. It's not about how you made it. It's kind of insulting to artists when you say, oh, did you use Blender? Did you use Maya? Did you use Katana? Did you use, RenderMan? What did you use? Because like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how I made it. Like, if you're interested in how I made it, then I can give you that answer. But if you're just going to use that as an argument to that it's less than, then I think that is more insulting to people. For all those who need a skill, but I don't find it hard to watch 1 hour on Stable Diffusion and get a finished result. Over time, those tools become even easier. Midjourney is a good example. Yeah, but I think here's a good example with Midjourney. Try getting something that you actually want. Like, go use Midjourney. Go try to have a thing in your mind of what you want to create and actually get that result. Because I guarantee you it's not going to be as easy as you think it is. The problem with AI is it doesn't do what you want it to. It's really good for concept art. It is not good for creating something that you actually want. And I think that's the biggest problem with AI, and that probably won't get changed soon. I mean, the things that I use it for when I do concept art with it, because I do use Midjourney and some of these other AI things to create concept art for ideas that I have before I go create them in 3D. But the thing that I often do is I create multiple iterations of stuff, and you can't iterate in Midjourney, not easily. You can't change elements of it super easily. They have this box feature where you can select stuff and then you can redo it, but it doesn't work super great, and it never does exactly what you want. But I have found that I, as a person who can composite, can take a bunch of different things, take it into Photoshop or Nuke or whatever, and then I can make it exactly what I want. And then I could go, oh, okay, I'll take this into 3D, and then I'll add the other elements that I want that the AI didn't get. And it's I feel like that right now is just it's a means to getting passes of stuff, and then me being able to go and composite and making it whatever I want. It doesn't apply for everything, but Suno's image generation and so on are easier. Yeah, I mean, sure, they can be easy, but does that make it less artful? I feel like my argument is not about whether or not something's hard or easy. I don't think anyone would argue with you about whether or not AI is easy. AI is so easy. You type a word, press enter, and it does your thing. I think the truth is, though, is it actually creating what you want it to create? Because if you're just settling for the image that it's generating, then then that's not art. Like, I mean, if you set out to animate something in Blender, let's say, okay, or Houdini or whatever you're using, and you spent time to try to create something, but it didn't come out exactly how you wanted it to come out, well, then you're not accomplishing your art that you wanted. You would have failed, and you would have known you failed, and maybe you showed it to people and people liked it. Maybe people said, oh no, I really like the way this looks. But to you as an artist, you're always going to sit there and you will know that this wasn't what you set out to create. I think that's the same with AI. I mean, you can create stuff, and sure, people can think it looks good, but is it really what you tried to create? Is it really what you're trying to resonate with your audience? And the same with making films. It's like, if you didn't create the edit or the story exactly how you wanted, the actors didn't perform it how you wanted it to, sure, they could have brought something different to the table than what you were expecting. And if that happens, then is that bad? Is that I don't know. That's not necessarily wrong. It's just, did it come out exactly how you wanted to? It's your job as an artist to try to tell that story. I don't know. Just a thought. Still rendering, taking forever. It's an incredibly difficult, and depending on the tool, impossible to get nuance in AI generated images. True. Yeah, I mean, they've made it a little bit easier with certain selection abilities to be able to select stuff, but it's not like, hey, I'm going to get what I want, because that doesn't happen. I do find AI is more like, it's more like directing than it is like modeling or, shading or lighting or any of that stuff. It's less like those things, and it's more like what a director would do. But the director isn't like going to get what he wants out either. Like, he's going to just continue to tell you, like, I don't think that looks right. And you can tell AI that all day long, and maybe it'll get to what you want. It's like hiring the right artist, That's the problem. I don't want companies to require me to do so while not being able to fulfill my artistic vision. I think you would be able to fulfill your artistic vision eventually, but are companies forcing you to use AI? I don't know. Maybe they will eventually. I mean, because they'll be like, it's a time thing, honestly, at the end of the day. It'll be one of those things where, like, hey, well, I think it depends on jobs, right? Like, I've done jobs where, so I'm a generalist. So when I do visual effects for films, we have budgets and things that will basically determine what the amount of time and money we can spend on shots are. And obviously you want to do everything exactly by the book. You want to hire the effects artist that's going to use Houdini or whatever to generate like the effects. You want to hire great compositors. You want to hire animators. You want to hire lighting technicians and like all that stuff, right? But sometimes jobs don't allow for it. And so even before AI, before any of this, there's always going to be jobs that are sit there and go, hey, like, what's the cheapest way you could possibly do this? And that'll hurt you. I mean, you work for companies and you want to do only good work. You don't want to do, cheap work. And that happens no matter what. It happens before, after, during, whatever. With AI, it's always going to happen, is that it comes down to the bottom line. How much money do people really have to spend? And I think the AI thing will it make it worse? I don't know. I think it'll make it a little bit better, because at least you'll get closer to what you as an artist would be happy with. But it will certainly make it so that maybe your options of what software you're allowed to use are more limited, because they'll want to save on the bottom line. Your professor is already pushing me to use it, and in my internship they also did. That's why I'm so focused on speed and ease of use. That's the aspects of the biggest benefits, and in some cases outweighs the cons. True. And I mean, honestly, you're going to get, right now at least anyways, with how AI works, you're going to get closer to what you want or what they want you to create, just based off of like regular software rather than AI, because like AI is going to be extremely limited, like with its means of creation for everything right now. No, I mean, yeah, but I don't work for a large company, so I kind of get to choose exactly what I want to do. And that, you know, has its freedoms, but I mean, it also has a certain responsibility of I still need to deliver on shots. I still have deadlines and schedules that I have to meet. And, you know, I view that there are certain things in AI that have made it more possible to do things than I have had before. I was using the example earlier of one of the AI things that we used on this last film was Photoshop's generative fill feature, where if I didn't have a clean plate of a shot, it would help me generate a clean plate of a shot that I didn't have before. And that to me was like mind blowing, because as an artist, I mean, what you're going to get like this thing is like, what am I going to, I don't have time. First of all, I don't have time. So like, you know, it sometimes sucks, but like, you know, you I'm not in charge of my schedule. And, so when they give you a shot and I've had hundreds of shots to do in this last month, and I have to get done with all of them. What's nice is the ability to easily create matte paintings that I would have otherwise taken hours to do. And that is something that you can't let go unnoticed on the ease of speed and all that. No, but a very interesting and unfortunately somewhat divisive topic right now is the use of AI in the film industry. But I'm sure there'll be more rules, regulations, and like how people view stuff. Problem with VFX is it's very unregulated to begin with. And I mean, and that comes down to if you're trying to do freelance work, there will always be someone that's going to try to undercut you on pricing and bidding and all that stuff. So, like, I mean, it's not something that's like, hey, you know, if you want to talk about problems in the visual effects industry, let's stop complaining about AI, because that's really not that big of an issue yet. I mean, it might eventually be one, but you know, what's a bigger problem is the fact that there are artists out there that are charging like $25 an hour to do something that is like, hey, you know, you're stealing clients from people that are actually good artists and you're trying to do it for super cheap because you just want to get into the industry. And I get it, you know, but like that also undercuts other artists, and that's a pretty dangerous aspect of things. This render is almost done, guys. I'm gonna open up Nuke in the meantime. I haven't done these live streams in a while. I just realized how parched I get when I do these. I talk too much. I think that's the problem. I gotta bring someone else on here so that they can talk more, so I can talk less. By the way, with these arms, one thing that I'm noticing right off the bat is they're very pale. We could fix that in the shader, but also I'm just gonna fix it in the compositor to get that kind of like really yellowish dark lighting. I don't want to fiddle with that in 3D. It's a little bit slower than if I just grab some color nodes and then just try to do that inside of the comp. Let's see, that's all open. I like those eyes, guys. The power of projecting eyeballs. I'm gonna have to darken her hair a bit. It's a little light. One of the cool things that I got to do this last month while working on this show was we actually hired an effects artist, and I have not done too much effects work before, and that was a really cool experience. And this is like some of the stuff that I can't wait to share with you guys once the film's out. It's like 0901, I think. Go and save that. Let's go and open up the node compositor here, and let's load in our thing. So if we go to streams, let's see, output, open that guy, and then let's shuffle this. I'm going to use cryptomats. And what we really want to do right now is I want to isolate our main person here from the background. So if we could do that real quick, let's grab her whole thing. And you know what? Let's grab this as well, just because it's all part of her, I guess. It's all good. We'll grab that, 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 and that. Probably want to grab her like glowiness as well, because we do have something there. But now that's going to give us an alpha mask basically of just her. And if I use a merge node, we're going to isolate her basically. Let's do it this way. If we do over, we can use a stencil, and then what am I doing wrong here? Oh, that's right. I'm erasing. What am I thinking? My brain is just broken here. I'll just use an invert node. There we go. Now we got our person. And then, of course, we're going to use the same thing. Let's just separate that. Let's move that over here. Just kind of just give myself some space for all of this stuff. And I like to just keep things clean. So let's just hide the input for that. And then we'll use another merge node here. And use the B input. And if we just use this A here, we'll go select the regular cryptomat. We don't need to invert this guy. This should then use the stencil as well. And so that's just going to give us the entirety of the background. So let's first do an erode on this whole thing here. Kind of get rid of some of the excess crap that we had. And then we'll go to here and use an edge extend. I'm going to erode this inwards. What am I doing here? I need to erode this direction. Can I not do that? Do this, merge this, invert that merge, auto alpha it. Actually don't know that this is the right way of doing it. I was trying to do it a different way and that didn't work. I'm just gonna move all of that down over here, and then we'll just add in a dot and a merge node. Let's see how screwed we are here. Just gonna get rid of that whole thing. Get rid of that dilate. There we go. That's fine. So now we're gonna get kind of like this guy. Now, ideally, we want, let's just move this whole thing up. About that height's fine. That way we could do some of our color correction that we want to do on the outside here. I kind of want to add in a nice little glow. So we have her alpha here, right? And what we can do is we can use a constant. I'm going to actually do this real quick. This is going to save us a lot of time later. Just going to change our project settings here to HD 1920 by 1080, which is the same as our photo. And so now if we go ahead and add in a constant, we can use a color picker. I probably actually really like this color here. Although, I mean, honestly, we could just go in, add in a nice blue glow and a nice merge node from our cryptomat or the invert of our cryptomat. So that way we've got this guy. I think the only thing I really want to do is let's use a shuffle. And someone tell me if there's an easier way of doing this, but what I've been doing is I've been just using a constant with like an alpha channel and then shuffling in the RGB value of like red, green, or whatever into the alpha of that. So that way it actually creates... Oh wait, did I have to do that? I don't think I had to do that here. 1 second. Stencil that. Now if I delete that... Yeah, we didn't have to do that there. But one thing I've noticed is that this constant here doesn't give you like an actual alpha channel with it. I've tried to... RGBA? Yeah, no, it still doesn't do it. I don't know. Is that because this... So if I do... Wait a second. RGBA... There we go. Haha! That fixed it right there. Wow. Who knew that if I actually just read like the node stuff, I would actually come up with a solution. Okay, so we've got this guy. Let's do that. We'll hide the input for that as well. Good job, Hasselhoff. Sorry, I found it like a couple seconds before you you said that. But good call. Good call. Good call. Okay, so we've got her here, and then we're going to behind that want the blur. So let's just go ahead into this guy. Let's look at this real quick, and we just add the blur. Then if we add in a merge node, just change the alpha of that, or use an expression and write 1 in the alpha. Works great for other comps. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. This was a good solution, though. Okay, there we go. Which actually, let's delete that. I don't freaking do that. We could do this correctly. Just add in a dot. Okay, guys. So there we go. Am I making a mess of things? Yes, but things always get messy before they get clean. Okay, guys? So you just have to trust the process. Trust the process, and eventually we will get there. Okay. That works for me. Delete that. There we go. So now we've got our glow on the outside of her. I'm probably thinking that with this constant, we can go into here. We can adjust the alpha now of this. I guess that doesn't really do it that easily, does it? Well, I guess we can do it this way. It's always my favorite way of doing it, which is just super easy. Just add a merge node in, adjust the mix of it. There you go. Voila. Now you got yourself a nice glow around your character. So now we go back into here. We've got this nice glow. We're probably going to adjust the amount of blur here to be a little bit less. Let's see. This is a combination of these two, so we're going to want both those open. But we're just going to add in a nice little glow. Great. Now, our background here, or actually still our foreground. Let's work on this a little bit. So we've got our character. This is her. We want to do some color manipulation on these things. So let's do that. We got ourselves a nice glow. Change the overall glow on this thing. Change the saturation on this to be a higher saturation. Let's change the brightness to be a little bit lower. And then overall, let's just mix this a little bit better. Let's change the saturation to be a little bit higher even. And then let's do effect only on this. So click on that guy and then hit effect only. And let's see. Such weird that it's giving me everything. I want it to be effect only, but it's... Just change this tolerance here. Oh, that's right. There we go. And all of that works pretty good. And let's use a merge node now, and then merge that back over on top of it. And we're going to use a screen value. And then this guy, we can use the mix node to control how much we really want. The only thing I don't want is to use a merge node here. We're going to create a cryptomat. Cryptomat just gets plugged all the way over into our main guy. Hide that input. But this cryptomat will just use the eyes here. And the teeth. Let's do that. Okay. And then we'll take this and use a mask to invert the selection on that. So there you go. And that's going to make it so that our eyes really pop, but the skin works really nicely here. Okay, great. Next up, let's add another cryptomat in. Okay. Same difference here. And let's go view this real quick. We're going to want... Maybe, yeah, let's select... Oopsies. Select that. Select the arms as well for right now. Actually, you know what? Clear this. We don't want objects, we want materials. So that way the hair is not being selected. And let's select these guys. Okay? So just the skin. Because we want to dial in the color of the skin that we have. So use a grade node here. And we're just going to plug this into the mask option now. And then now we could just really dial this in, you know? So I'm going to use the white point here to... Looks pretty good. I like that. Let's use a saturation node now. Plus that cryptomat. Just boost that saturation a little bit. I don't like it when it goes too yellow, you know? Like it feels too green or something like that. It's feeling about right to me. I think her arms are going to need a little more love, you know? But, it feels a little too green. A little too green. Feels a little too red. Yeah, it looks good, guys. I like that. It's got a nice fleshy skin to it. Oh, it's looking good. Oh, yeah, boy. So that's with the blue glow, and then just adjust the amount of that intensity there. And yeah, so now we got that for our main thing. One other thing that we're going to want to adjust is that the outside edges of this guy need to have a little bit of a little bit of an edge blur, I think. Let's just go into here and feather that out a little bit. Just increase the brightness as well. Now we could go into here and change this brightness a little bit. We'll dial it in. Don't want to be too much. And overall, I mean, it's a little too blurry. Can always take this though, and then let's do the output. Do they have output? Yeah, output. That kind of works. I just don't like it for the hair. So let's use another cryptomat. Another cryptomat here. Boom. Select this to the top. And yeah, let's go into here. And then for the cryptomat, set that to material again. And then we're going to use the hair here as our mask that we want. So we'll just go ahead and boop. I'll just say invert this because we don't want the hair. We don't want the hair, okay? I mean, we could do it this way. Yeah, let's add a blur node into here. Blur that pretty high. Erode fast. Let's see. Increase the size of that. So now it's only going to blur these areas on this image that are not the hair, based off of this setup here. Now the reason why I'm doing it this way, I could just use rotos, like a rotos shape, and then just like erase the area where the hair is. But what's really nice now is that whatever we set up in the comp now, we can just load, change out this EXR sequence or whatever. If we animate her, everything will just work. We don't have to like change anything. It's not custom to the shot. It's all just like a nice setup. So that works pretty dang nice. Let's see. Add in a virtual lens. You're gonna love me, Hasselhoff. I added your virtual lens. Which, by the way, I used on this last job for the film that I worked on, and it saved me so much time and effort. And it looks amazing too, so. Just change the size of this to be a little bit less. I think we're good on that though. Wait. I got vignettes here. Let's turn that on. Change the strength here to be a little bit more. I like this halation as also. This adds a nice little. Not too much though. You don't want to kill everybody. A little too much contrast though. Okay, so that's all good with that. Then the last thing I really want to adjust, let's do this before we do the edge extend though, because we'll do all the color related stuff first. So let's move this mask out a little bit further, give ourselves some more room. Let's use another grade node here, and then we're going to find ourselves a cryptomat. And let's see. Yeah, let's use this crypto mat specifically of just the hair. So let's just, go view that real quick. Select that to material. And then select the hair. Got ourselves a nice mask here. So now this guy, we can darken up a little bit to match her eyes a little more. Love it. Love it. Just take a look at our reference image again. She's got like a little bit more. I feel like the Love it. Let's merge this back on top of this guy here. And then let's do that. And then I'm going to add in a grade node. I don't want to use that guy for the vignette. I think it's like, I'm just going to do it myself. So with vignettes, it's really interesting. So I work at a finishing facility and they always use like a perfect vignette for like their shapes. And I really like it when you don't have, like, if it has like a little bit of a shape to it. I feel like you can feel that in the vignette. I love it when I do stuff like this where it has like this kind of like on guard, off guard like shape to it where, you know, it's not exactly perfect. Like it has like a bit of a feeling to it. That to me, I just feels so natural and realistic. But yeah, so we'll just use this blur node here and then let's just invert this guy. Yeah, that's perfect. Go over to our grade node here and then we just darken up the edges. Love it. The only other thing that I kind of want to do before all of this is let's use a lens distortion node and just increase the distortion just by ever so slight. And then we use that as a redistort. That just gives us a nice little distortion to our image. And then with our background, let's just do a bit of treatment on our background here, okay? So let's use like a nice little glow. I like to just throw a little glow on things. We'll use effect only. I'll just go view that real quick. Change our tolerance to, you know, something like this. And then if we just, you know, change the amount of blur to something like that. Merge that back on top of our main image. Do a nice little screen, I think. And then we'll just mix that back in so that way it's not too much blur. We just want to add like a nice little pop. Kind of give like an overall environmental lift to things. That looks good to me, guys. Okay, great. So now we merge everything back on top of it. Get your Pixar character that you got going on here. What do you guys think? Looks pretty good to me. Only took us like a month and a half to make, right? I think that's like let's bring her exposure down a little, I think. She's a little hot. Yeah, you know what? Let's see. I don't like that exposure node. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, I think that works better for me. Her teeth, just nitpicking now, but I do like to nitpick. Okay, I don't think it's a bad thing to nitpick either. You know, like I feel like you're allowed to nitpick stuff. I feel like I've earned my time of nitpicking. Okay. You had to push through. You think it really paid off? Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's this was a challenging character. Not gonna lie, guys. This was very challenging. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be easy, but I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And you know what? It was fun. Low disk space, guys. I'm running out of disk space here. Just gonna brighten up her teeth a little bit because I think her teeth needs to be a little bit whiter. I'm actually gonna do that with her teeth and her eyes. I think that's actually a good idea there. Yes. Oh, not the eyes. I mean, if I do the eyes, I only want the whites of the eyes. If I do the eyes, I only want the whites of the eyes. Okay, so can't do that. Beautiful. Just the teeth. Let's lift that up. Grade node. Give ourselves some more room. More crypto mats coming, guys. Multiply node here. Just want the let's see, offset here. What the heck? Oh, right. No duh. I need to select my stuff first. That works. It's funny, I actually brightened it, I think, more than I was initially planning on it. Let's see. Yeah. I think that's a bit much grain though. Let's make some adjustments here. So we got preset. Let's do Fuji 4K. Nah. I like a Kodak. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I like that. Nice little grain, man. Some nice grain. You know what? I like it. I like it. What can I say? What can I say, guys? It turned out pretty good. You know, thanks to the wonderful Hasselhoff for sending us these arms, because that was a nightmare and a half. But, you know, overall, like, I think the rest of the image turned out. Everything turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, guys. I think this is going to be the final image, the final render, the final push, guys, to get that done was this. This was made in Blender, of course. If you guys are new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I don't really promote that as much anymore, but it really helps the YouTube algorithm to know that these videos are doing well, is if you guys are subscribing. This will be a cut down up on the Patreon probably later this week, and then next week it'll be up on the YouTube channel as well. However, if you guys want these project files, you can download the Nuke script as well as the Blender project and everything from Patreon. That'll be uploaded here as soon as I end the live stream. Looks great. A big change. You went from I hate this due to the problem with the eye and the arms to I like it. Good job, man. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I certainly have changed my opinion on this 1,000 times. But I feel like I'm still going to nitpick this. I'm still going to nitpick it, okay? You can't stop me from nitpicking things. Like, I just realized one thing I might want to nitpick right now. So let's go into here, and I'm going to hit the pick to remove button. And if I select this guy, let's just see what it looks like without that. Versus I think it works better with it. Yeah. I was going to say, because I wanted to see if maybe this needed to have a little bit more of a glow around it, but don't think it does. I don't think so. I don't think it does. But yeah, no, I mean, this is really turned out. You know, it was certainly a challenging character to create, but super fun. I mean, from sculpting it and everything. So if you guys want these project files, you guys want to mess around with it, maybe rig it to play with or whatever, those files will be up on the Patreon. I do want to thank all of you guys for sticking around and watching the stream with me. As I've been working on this has been a super fun one. Next week, we're going to go into probably more of a VFX thing. I'll tell you what I was planning on doing. If you guys want this, then let me know. I was thinking about doing a visual effects shot using some practice footage from Action VFX of the spaceman walking, which is a green screen shot. But I was going to do a CG background. We were going to build a CG background, relight it in CG and all of that stuff. Maybe use some switch light for relighting and all that fun jazz. And I was planning, which good thing I didn't do this, but I was planning on jumping on the Alien hype train with the new Alien movie that came out and then doing like an alien corridor of the spaceship, of the spaceman walking down that. But yeah, that movie got so much hate. It's actually kind of crazy. So I don't know if you guys want that or not. If you guys are interested in that, I feel like it still would be a fun render to do, and I would be really excited to do that. But that might be the plan. That might be what we do next week. I don't know. If you guys have something else you guys would like to see, make sure to leave a comment below. And I will see you guys next week with a new render, with a new visual effects shot. Peace out, guys. You guys have a good one.